Almost 20 years ago, as of 2020, the world got introduced to a new RPG game that would soon gain a cult following. This game was called Vampire the Masquerade Redemption. Published by Activision, no one expected this game to soon gain a cult following. Years later, the next installment happens, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. Almost immediately, it becomes a classic with players thirsty for more. Bloodlines was created by Tronka Games and published by Activision. If you like the content, scratch that like button, bite that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell for all updates, and follow the Twitch for anything happening live. With that small bit of history done, and you caught up with what has happened, there are still many other games that were released after Bloodlines and before Bloodlines 2, but none got as much attention as Bloodlines 2 has. White Wolf, part of the creators of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, tried to release another hit following Bloodlines named Vampire the Masquerade We Eat Blood, but it failed and has been discontinued from being sold. Other titles, to name one that came out, is Vampire the Masquerade Cortez of New York and Shadows of New York, both being fairly positive. The thing is, none of the previously mentioned games were a follow-up to the Bloodlines RPG and were visual novels. Bloodlines 2 is a follow-up to the hit RPG Bloodlines. What are my impressions then, you might be asking me? The answer is simple. I like it. I think this really can bring back those who have been waiting. I personally think that if no one has experienced the original, this could be a great introduction to why this RPG got such a cult following. The story seems to follow where Bloodlines left off, but this is speculation. The game devs, however, seem to bring back many of the clans that if you played the original, you would know well. These clans are the Bourgeois, the Tremere, the Toreador, the Venture, and of course the Malkavan. While I don't remember if the original game made it that choices matter, Bloodlines 2 has advertised that choices do matter. So this means you will need to be prepared that if in one playthrough you made a choice that you hated, you better make sure you remember what line you said so you don't make the same choice. I personally noticed this is a bit of a trend with some recent games, and I'm not against it. I like the idea of choices mattering. It makes the game feel more personal and gives you a reason to revisit the game or play again. While this means there won't be hundreds of different endings, as all paths will lead to some ending, the way the story changes could make those minor choices seem better or worse. As a note, in this game, you start as a Finnblood, which is the very beginning of a new vampire's life. It seems, though, that Finnbloods often don't survive long unless you find the right clan to accept you or you join them. In this game, it seems like fractions will play a role in which ending you will receive. Many of the fractions you know if you played Bloodlines will return, hopefully connecting the events as seen by Bloodlines with Bloodlines 2. I can't speculate what ending will follow Bloodlines 2, as in the end of Bloodlines, slight spoiler, so if you have not played the original and want to not be spoiled, then skip ahead a bit. I'll give those not wanting to be spoiled and you who want to go into Bloodlines blind some time to pause the video and skip ahead via timestamp I've provided in description or in the description. So for those you who want to be not spoiled, this is your time to pause the video and use the timeline in the description below to skip ahead. Time's up. If you didn't pause or skip ahead, I assume you already have played the game. So let's continue. As I stated, I don't know which ending will be followed based on Bloodlines, but I speculate that there will be a tie-in for Bloodlines 2 that follows Bloodlines. As many of you who have already played the game know, Sebastian Lacroix played a heavy role in the ending of the game. Either he died because of your actions, or lives and is stripped of his title. So as my speculation goes, it will follow this path or one of these. In general, I'm personally very excited for the game and looking forward to playing it. I'd love to see how they will tie in the past of Bloodlines and what they have done to bring this game back to life after so long of not having it. So far, I am impressed with Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. I'm looking forward to talking with the devs as I can and when I can, hopefully. So far, I'm impressed with Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. I'm looking forward to talking with the devs as I can and when I can. Hopefully, I can create a future video with more information from the devs themselves. 2021 will be an interesting year, and the release of a cult classic like Vampire the Masquerade will, I think, shake the world. If you haven't yet bought or played the original, I would highly suggest it. The game is a classic. Graphically, sure, it's not as impressive as the games of today, but where it lacks in graphics, it has in story, and that is what I expect going into Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. I expect the graphics to not only have majorly improved with the advancement of ray tracing, but I also expect to see the story shine as we explore Seattle. But of course, let me hear what you have to say in the comment section below. Tell me your thoughts. Are you excited to see a new Vampire the Masquerade? And when were you introduced to this game? But I look forward to an updated video as I continue to gather information and maybe more from the devs.